Thanks to the platform of LawSikho for again inviting us to interact with the law school aspirants and talking about a particular law entrance examination per se, which is law school admission test, known as LSAT India rather, if we talk to law school aspirants. So, but you're well aware that I've been interacting with you a lot about other law entrance examination, especially when it comes down to the common law admission test and we the LawSikho came out with a particular program that was Project Maverick, wherein the idea was to create unprecedented access to legal education. One other law entrance examination in the country which does the same, creates unprecedented access to legal education, is LSAT, Law School Admission Test. So currently, I'm assistant manager at Jindal Global Law School in the admissions team, and now we have with us Mr. Deepu Krishna, who is an institution in himself. He produced the CLAT Topper once. He was the product head for Career Launcher. He also taught at the Oro University. Right now, he's the deputy director of admissions at Jindal Global Law School. He's there with us in this particular sessions. So in this particular session, we will be talking about LSAT, Law School Admission Test. So before I go down to LSAT, let me tell you once again, revise various law entrance examination in our country. So if you want to have a career in the field of law, and then you need to give certain law entrance examination in the country to get into the best law schools of our country. So the law entrance examination, not in the order or not in the order of their ranking, is LSAT India, Common Law Admission Test CLAT, AILET, SLAT, BHU अलग से होता है BLAT, and other entrance examination. So these are the major ones. And among them, if I talk about LSAT, so this started in our country later than common law admission test. If I remember, the common law admission test started in 2008. It was in the year after that the LSAT came to our country. So LSAT is conducted by LSAT Global. So what happens is LSAT is the entrance examination, which is conducted by Law School Admission Council, and its headquarters in USA. So it's an organization which navigates the admission process and provides questionnaires to law school so that they can have their entrance examination. So in that particular manner, it also conducts the entrance examination for Bhutan by the name of LSAT Bhutan. There is a Spanish LSAT, and in our country, this particular exam is called as LSAT India. So this was a little info about LSAT India. So now, if you want to give this particular exam, your primary questions will be, first and foremost, we will not be discussing today again law as a career option. But again, what are the strategies to clear this particular exam? Or how you can get an amazing percentile in this particular exam? What are the areas which are asked in this exam, and how to prepare for those areas? So that being said, before we march on to this particular aspect, it's again the four most important things are the dates. So a lot of you have been texting me and in the chat box, Alia, she has texted me, Ria, she has texted me that sir, I have read that LSAT dates were starting from 10th of May, and CBSE has declared their dates. So will the exam shift? So what I can say earlier to you is that it completely goes down to the Discover Law, LSAT India, that they have to take a call on this. And as an individual, not in any capacity as an assistant manager at Jindal Global Law School, I can say that for the benefit of the kids, it might be shifted. So that's my take on this particular thing. So the important dates are, if you're applying for a law school admission test LSAT India, the registration is already open. You can go the website to that particular discoverlaw.in. The registration as of today, the dates which they have provided is the registration closes on 20th of April 2021. So these are the important dates. Now coming down to how you can prepare for LSAT India, how you can register for LSAT India. So this is what we will be discussing about, and what are the books you can refer to, or what are the study material you can refer to for that matter. So before we come down to that, you can again, I have told you the website, that's discoverlaw.in, where you can go and register for LSAT India. So you need to have certain requirements which they have mentioned on their website, and that's they are not asking you for a lot of things. a valid email ID and a mobile number, your photograph, and a digital payment gateway. So that is all they will be asking for. But again, the main question, which comes down to all the minds of the aspirants, sir, what are the law colleges by which, what are the law colleges in which I can get admission if I crack this particular, if I get a good percentile in this entrance examination by the name of LSAT. Also, the second most asked question, which has been asked to me, is how to prepare for reasoning section. Sir, what is the time frame of this particular exam? So this we will be talking. But before we move down to this particular discussion, we have with us Mr. Deepu Krishna, and I would like to understand, and you and a few of you have all obviously asked. So when there was LSAT, so when there's CLAT, when there is AI-led, why did we ever needed LSAT India? So if you can throw some light on this particular question.
Yeah, that is one of the most asked questions also by students every year, because every year we have new students who come up. There's a lineage of forms which they have to fill up. They have to fill up ALET, they have to fill up CLAT, they have to fill up SLAT. So one more added to it called as LSAT, right? But LSAT is, I would say, it's different. Yes, it is absolutely different from all other entrance examinations in terms of its syllabus and also in terms of how it is conducted. So why Jindal chooses LSAT is one of those answers, because we are the only law school, I guess right now, who are only accepting LSAT scores for our 5-year law program. Why? So when Jindal was being conceived, it has been conceived as a global law school. Why global law school? Because here you would see that most of those things we have tried to incorporate it, which many other universities around the world are also doing the same. So we have the global curriculum, we have global faculties. So why not the entrance examination? That was also a call. So when Jindal was getting conceived, CLAT was also not something which was there. We had different entrance examinations for different streams. So now there was a proper research which went into how to permit the students. So if you see the foundations of Jindal, transparency in terms of admission is something which is one of the basic foundations of this entire university. So just in tow with that, they also try to understand that how do the Ivy League law schools in United States of America, they permit the students, and what is the entire process. Now, this is something very interesting, because I have also done my bit of a research in this, and that's how I prepared myself for LSAT, as in, when I go and talk to students. Now, in India, everything is an entrance examination, okay? Because right from the moment when you are in your 10th standard, you might have already chosen a career option, or else something might have been already imposed on you. Why? Because in India, what decides career? Word called as placements. So wherever you get placements, you tend to go for that, right? So because of placements, many of the universities or many of the career options are chosen by people where you have to give entrance examination, where you have to sit. They do not test whether you have the aptitude to do the course or not. The only thing which is into your mind is you have to crack the entrance examination, you have to go inside, and you have to appear for the examination. You have to go through the entire course structure. Now, this is not how American education system has been conceived. It has been conceived in a very different idea. So their graduation is 4 years, where a student would explore, graduation in terms of continuation of his school studies, where a specific something which he has understood throughout a school, he will be taking it further for the next 4 years. Now, when it comes to choosing a particular profession like law, I'm again repeating, it's a profession, law or medicine, you have to realize, or you have to justify yourself there. It's not like the parents are pushing you. You have to justify yourself that you have the caliber to do the specific profession. So hence, entrance examination, which we give here, are called there as aptitude tests. So students appear for SAT, they appear for LSAT, they appear for various other aptitude tests. And then depending upon the scores a student achieves, he or she would go ahead and appear for that particular profession, right? So LSAT is devised in such a kind of by such a kind of a research, I would say, where the subjects which they ask you in LSAT, say reading comprehension in terms of English, reasoning, critical and logical, both test you whether you have the aptitude to do law or not. And that is something through which they decide whether you have to do law or not. So Barack Obama, when he appeared for LSAT, he did not have an idea that he wanted to do law. So he was just exploring that what all options, or as per my strengths and weaknesses, what am I made for? And that's how, when he appeared for LSAT, he cracked Harvard, right? So he knew that he is made for law, and what made him realize that he has the aptitude to do law was his entrance examination. So when this law school was getting conceived, we were very clear that the same global standards of entrance examination has to be followed at Jindal Global Law School. And that's how kind of we tied up with LSAC. It's a US based organization which is more than 50-year-old, and they have been testing students for Stanford, Harvard, Yale, etc. And the pattern of the test is also very interesting. There is no negative marking, because the way in which the test has been conducted, it's very interesting. It's like they give you a paper first of 30 of English comprehension. They want you to solve the same, and where you are not tensed about a question of general studies, which might come up or which you might have seen. And then you are also messing up your own English. So it's like one subject at a time they give you, you have to solve the same, because that's exactly how you do law also, right? Because you've been to law school, Harsh, right? You realize it, that when a law of torts class is on, and if you have been given a case law, a specific case law, you have to do a lot of a reading there. And it's not like you have to go through the entire case law. You're reading it, you're comprehending it, you're understanding the basics, you know the strong arguments, weak arguments out of it, you're logically analyzing it, you're critically analyzing it. And that's exactly what the test also does to students. And that's how we borrowed that idea to India. And thankfully, it is for all these 11 years which we have conducted LSAT, as in LSAC has conducted LSAT, there has never been a single LSAT with any glitch or any problems. If ever there was, even last year, I'm so proud of bringing about this fact that LSAC did keep in mind the student safety, etc., and they were able to pull off such a great test, which is called an LSAT, which was a stay at home, which was a home proctor test where a student could sit at home under, which was an AI enabled test. They were at home and they could appear in the test being in the safety of their home. And yes, it was remote proctored. It was being proctored very superbly. And there were students who were even caught. There were students who committed mistake, and then there was an appeal system through which they could appeal, and then they could reappear for the test. So all these things, is what makes LSAT a bit different from all other tests. And that is one of those tests which I would recommend that the students should appear, not keeping in mind as an entrance examination. You can give any entrance examination, but LSAT as an examination should be appeared by the student just to test the aptitude required to do law. And many students ask me, sir, if we don't score good in LSAT, should we drop the idea of doing law? I think you should rethink the idea about doing law then, because LSAT will give you a good idea about your journey into the 5 years, that you have to do reading, you have to comprehend the critical level of understanding which is required. So I will not say that you drop it, but you reconsider it and you think about it that, okay, 5 years, this is exactly what we're going to do. So that was my answer.
Okay. So, as Sir has already told us about that this year rather the last year in 2020, the exam was online, AI proctored, and that's the same case which LSAT India has promised that this year too, in 2021, it will be conducted online, AI proctored again. Before we march on to that, what's the benefit of giving this particular test, and who are those people who actually will benefit if they give LSAT India? So, if you are those people who do not believe in rote learning, if you are not able to learn the facts of a GK, if you think that general knowledge is too comprehensive to be covered for law entrance examination, and if you are those people who can say, if you are that kind of person who also fears solving mathematical equation, but my dear friends, you are a logical person. You have a reasoning capability. You try to find reason behind every argument that is made, and you love reading, and you love comprehending what is written in front of you in black and white, then this particular exam is for you. This particular exam is different from CLAT, AILET, and all other entrance examination in these matters. There is no question which is asked on GK. So nobody will ask you about which is the only city which has been named twice or something like that, who wrote this particular book. You might, if you are those particular person who thinks, if I learn this also, what will I do in law school? Who will ask me in the court of law that who wrote Godan? So if you have this kind of a mindset, and if you have that kind of mindset, like you are not too good in maths, but still you want to pursue a career in the field of law, and and as I told you that you love reading, that's a foremost requirement, that you have to read a lot of question, you need to comprehend them, that because the nature of the paper is such that. So once I speak about the nature of the paper, let me tell you the sections which are asked in LSAT, Law School Admission Test India particularly. So they are in total 92 questions which are asked. Uh, 2 hours, 20 minutes test it is. There are 4 section types, and each section is given a duration of 35 minutes. The sections are analytical reasoning, logical reasoning. It's divided into 2 parts: logical reasoning 1, logical reasoning 2, and then reading comprehension. So onto this particular point, Deepu, so what was the reason now behind bringing a lot of reasoning factors to this? Because as you have already told, and because being to the law school, we know that we have been reading. We have to read case laws, comprehend the arguments from both the sides. And this time in our country, there's a new form of competition called extempore moot, where you are given a case and then you have to post arguments from both the sides, divide the arguments. So how these 4 sections, particularly analytical reasoning, logical reasoning 1 and 2, along with reading comprehension, helps a law school kid while he's preparing for his career options.
Well, Harsh, you and I both understand that law is all about language and reasoning. These are the only 2 components which are there throughout the law school, which as law students we have to be good at. So I remember the very first class which we had, in law school, it was of law of torts. So I remember the professor walking into our room and telling us that this branch of law is all about common sense, law of torts. It's about if you do a wrong, which is wrong as per the society, it will be considered to be a wrong, and you have to compensate the person against whom you have done this wrong. So this was very easy for us to understand, because that's exactly what law was in our raw minds. But later on, as new branches of law were introduced, specifically Constitution of India, contract law, where equity was something which everything has to be based upon, we started realizing that it all goes by the way it is written down. So as per the understanding of the crowd, let me give you some examples which will make you understand things better. I'll pick it up from the favorite topic which most law aspirants have. It is criminal law. So Indian Penal Code. So I often ask this question to students: what do you mean by Indian Penal Code? Or as I ask them this question, what is a crime to you? So there are various kinds of explanations which students give me for crime. They say crime means this, crime means that. So I tell them that crime for a law student means anything which is defined as a crime in Indian Penal Code. Okay, anything which is defined as a crime in Indian Penal Code, or any of its ancillary laws, because Indian Penal Code is a kind of a mother law. So it has to be written there, it has to be defined there. And the actions of a person has to fall in the category of how he has committed that crime. Unless and until it does not fall in that category, he is not a criminal. So there are offenses in our country which a person might do, but it might not be a crime as per what we know. For example, let me give you an example. That this gets me very interesting, because still it has not been classified as a crime. So I asked this question to this audience: that what if a person is very hungry? He is kind of a beggar. He's very hungry. He has not got, because of the lockdown, no one gave him any alms. So he's very hungry and he is going from one place to another asking for food, but there's no one. He goes into an aisle where a person lays murdered. He has been killed by someone else. This person is so hungry, he starts consuming the dead body. The person has already died. He starts eating him. The police comes and arrests this person. What crime has this person done? What crime has this person done? So because it's not an interactive session, let me give you an idea. Many students say this is murder or he has killed him, but you cannot kill a person. You cannot commit a murder on a person who's already died. That is how it is defined. So murder as defined in IPC says you should kill a person who is alive. So this person has already died. Now, the kind of a crime which he has done, which is eating of human flesh, is often called as cannibalism, right? So can he be prosecuted and punished for cannibalism? The answer is no. Why? Because cannibalism as a crime is nowhere defined in the Indian Penal Code. Okay, eating of human flesh is nowhere defined in Indian Penal Code as a crime. So this person is absolved of any kind of criminal liability. But he has committed a crime. So if you ask me under Indian Penal Code, which crime has he committed? Let me tell you, the crime which this person has committed is called as destruction of evidence, because that body was basically an evidence. Someone killed him, and who has the right to take the custody of that dead body? It was the state. It was the police who should come and take the custody. So what did this person do? This person went and destructed the evidence which was there. So he'll be arrested and put behind the bars for this crime. What he did, he destroyed the. But do you think what he did as an act of cannibalism can be forgiven for the same? No. The way it is written in Indian Penal Code, because I'll tell you how it works. When the police personnel is going to take this person to the court, okay, when the police personnel is going to take this person to the court, he has to tell the judge that under IPC which section he is getting charged. So when cannibalism is nowhere mentioned in IPC, what can the public prosecutor and the police tell the judge? Can they drag him to the court and say, sir, he just ate a human being? The judge is going to say, that's okay, but tell me. I'm just saying it because the judge will also be, scared that this person ate a human being. But the judge is going to ask them one question. It's okay, but what crime did he commit? Come on, tell me the section so that your charge sheet can be accepted here. Because the first argument, you might have heard in newspapers also, charge sheet has been filed, etc. So the first question the judge will say is, to prosecute him, give me a charge sheet where the charges against him are written down, for which there has to be evidences and everything. So now you see, when that evidences will be presented, the charge sheet will be filed. The prosecution says this person has ate a dead body. What crime has he committed? He has destroyed a evidence, okay, by consuming a human body, a dead body. So we all know the facts. The public will be full emotional. He ate away, and the media will be crying. The nation would want to know that what is the kind of society that we are building, that, a beggar who did not get arms had to eat a dead body. But on the other hand, the legal circles will be talking about only one thing. Under IPC, under which section where he destroyed a property, he can be prosecuted or punished or not. He will be given a defense also, where the defense counsel will come and say, sir, he was made to do it. It was not intentional. He did not intentionally do it. He did not know that person. And this will be the argument which will go inside the court, where logically, critically, prosecution will reason out, sir, as it is written down, his actions qualify under it. Intention does not matter. He consumed it. He should have made his efforts, and he should have asked for food rather than consuming something. He has attracted the provisions of this section, so he will be prosecuted. He should be punished. Defense, on the other case, will try to find enough number. It can even, defense can even attract right to life and personal liberty. To this case, they can say, sir, in this pandemic situation, things can go out of line. So there has to be an exception which should be created. So logically, you have to critically analyze even the laws of this land. That is something as a situation which can arise. Which entrance examination tests you on all those things? It is basically LSAT. I'm not saying that CLAT does not test. It also has reasoning where they test this also. They also have legal reasoning where they test this also. But then my problem is with mathematics. I don't know why mathematics is there. I was a commerce student. I hate mathematics. I still hate mathematics. But then 20 bucks is something which CLAT asks you for. They have their own justification. But I think for lawyers, more and more of those skills which are important is your language, the way you are able to interpret the specific section. Many people get confused that when an accident happens, the hospital will not take the body unless and until the police does not come and does what we call as the first action report. They create a report. There are reasons behind it why a hospital does that, because there have been cases where a person injures another person, the person reaches the hospital alive, and then he dies inside the hospital. So the defense counsel will prove it that as it is written in Indian Penal Code, the death should have happened because of this person's actions. But then it is proven that when he reached the hospital, he was very much alive, right? That means it could be a negligence of the hospital that the person died. So there has to be a report that when the person reached, what was his status. So for creating that report, the hospital waits that the police should come and we will create the report in front of it. So things are that complex. It's not that easy. Where the skills of the lawyer and his ability to use the intricacies of law is something which is more important. And that is why I always say law is for those students who would not read a newspaper. There is something given on Farm Bill and they are very satisfied with the writer. The writer is a critique of the government. So he has written all wrong things. So he just reads it and he's like, okay, I'm satisfied the government is full of thieves. It's not for those kind of students. It's for those kind of students who would read both those things, who would go to online, read the entire bill, and then find out that yes, there are loopholes, but yes, it also benefits the farmers. The government should sit and try to remove those loopholes because they have created one law for the entire country. While farm sector in our country differs from state to state, both in fashion, execution, everything, you've created just one farm law for the entire country, and that is wrong. For land revenue, etc., where it comes to revenue, you have created different laws for different states. So this is the understanding of a law student, what I have read. You're getting it? And I am reasoning it out also. I gave you the example of land revenue code, that they have different land revenue codes for different states. Then why not different farm laws for different states, depending upon the fashion, execution, and also the seasons which the states faces. You're getting it? So that is my reasoning. And both these things are basically tested in LSAT in equal format. They give you English to test how good you are a reader, how well you comprehend. And then they give you the reasoning ability test, where they test that what kind of a student are you? Are you someone who gets just satisfied reading out a piece of paper and is well satisfied? Or are you someone who also would critically analyze situations and then take a decision? Harsh, over to you.
Yes. So while Sir was mentioning this particular point that how reasoning and English are important for lawyers, like yes, they are. If you have even watched a debate in which one of the guests on the panel is a lawyer by profession, the difference will be very clearly visible. This particular individual, for that matter, taking an example of he's not with us anymore, Mr. Arun Jaitley. For that matter, he would always speak in a manner if we refer to this particular line of this particular book or this particular thing. So he was referring to text. Even for a matter of law, if you watch some debates of 𝗟𝗫𝗍𝗫𝗀, he will be referring to some of the articles of the Indian Constitution or the history of how the Indian Constitution was made, and then make an argument before individuals. So the making of an argument also involves the knowledge, and from where the knowledge comes in, it's by reading. So lawyers are bound to read more and more. The more they read, the more knowledgeable they are, and the more cases they win, the more respect they gain, and the more the money that follows. आप chronology समझिए. So that being said, there's one individual who has asked me, sir, is there a negative marking in LSAT India? So that's a good point. There's no negative marking in LSAT India. So it's just like you can mark all your answers. That being said, yes, there's one particular point that's you must think about, and that is how to approach this particular paper. So one thing which I can tell you is that the duration for each of the individual section is limited. So you have to appear that particular section, then move on to the next section. But again, you would have agreed with us on all these points that yes, the logic is needed. Yes, the English comprehension skills are needed. You would have agreed on all these pointers that lawyers do need them to survive. But again, next question which comes to any of the law aspirants' mind is how we can prepare. What are the resources? हम तैयारी कहाँ से करेंगे? That's what the students call, and even their parents. So I received a call from a parents from Istanbul, and the first question he asked was not about पेपर में क्या क्या आएगा. The first question he asked me, sir, इसकी तैयारी बच्चा कैसे करेगा? So when it comes down to this particular notion in our country, when we all are very competitive, when at least appearing for a competitive exam, and why we should not be. So we must understand, we must have the weapons. So for that, to prepare for LSAT India, first and foremost, once you register for LSAT India, so they give you an option to buy some of their study materials. Although there are some materials which are free of cost, and if you want to go through some of them, you can go to their website, Discover Law. There are sample questions with explanations. They have their official LSAT India handbook, which provides you the details of test pattern, type of questions asked, and some other important information also. Other than that, they have their super prep booklet also, which provides you some more questions, whole test with complete explanation. And they also give you the explanation for every correct answer and incorrect options which is there in that particular exam. And then there are official LSAT India prep test. So they give you that. So they try to give you that particular environment, the same kind of atmosphere, such as it's kind of a mock test rather, so that you can get accustomed to the LSAT India paper. But apart from that, if you want to prepare for LSAT India, you can also refer to Khan Academy. When I say Khan Academy, so this is not something which which will train you in acting skills. Uh, a parent also said, "Ki, Sir, Khan Academy." So Khan Academy is a one free resource from where if you go to the Khan Academy, they will help you prepare for LSAT India, and that you can prepare even free of cost. That being said, there's some modules within Khan Academy which are a paid version, but most of the preparation material which is available for free on the Khan Academy. They are the official LSAT test prep partners. So they will guide you. Let me help you with this particular thing, and let me show you how their website looks like. Just give me a moment on it. So on your screen right now is a Khan Academy website. So it says official LSAT prep, build the skill and confidence to succeed on test day. And as LSAT India's tagline is, all you need is reason. So they will help you ideally prepare for. So you can prepare from by being at your own place, because it's an online platform. So they will personalize. That's how their website. I just want you to know that this is how their website looks like. So what you can do is you can go through this particular website, uh, look, also make real progress towards your goal, which is achieving a particular good score, a percentile for that matter. So here, what you can go is get started. So that's how you get started. There are a lot of study material, videos, practice sessions already available, so you can prepare by that. So if you say, "Sir, I don't have a good internet also," then what do I do? This was once a question asked to me by a particular kid. So if you don't have even that good kind of internet, you can go and buy R.S. Agarwal book. But I guess if you're preparing for law school admission test, if not even LSAT India specifically, you would have this particular book in your at your disposal. What I can say is, it's not important having a book. It's important going through that book, solving the questions. There are really some tough questions in this book as well. R.S. Agarwal's. You can go through those particular questions, solve them. Other than that, the useful material can be some a kid asks, "Sir, can I go through GMAT booklets?" Yes, you can go through those booklets. Saying that in my individual capacity, those books are also available. Again, I'm telling you, in my individual capacity, they are available in the PDF formats. There's also a Telegram channel of LSAT India where they share the details. They share the questions. You can also be a part of that Telegram group. And if you need some introduction to LSAT, some past year paper or some sample paper, you can contact us, the admission team of Jindal Global Law School. We will be happy to share the details on your email ID. So now that being said, this is the design of the paper and the preparation strategy. Sir, I want to know from you. Have you interacted with a lot of LSAT India toppers? What is that paper strategy one must follow to get the maximum percentile?
Uh, the preparation strategy as such, because as I said, it's basically an aptitude test, is not something which is a hard line or which cannot be set in watertight compartments. It's specifically that the student should have a good reading skill. So he or she should have the ability to read. Now this year, they've already decided that it's going to be a online test. So sitting in front of I know students are now well versed with it because of the online classes, etc. But sitting in front of a screen and reading is different to having a book or a pen and paper in your hand and appearing for a test. So this year, what I would rather suggest is students should try to download some ebooks and try to read it online, specifically for those students who have problems with screen exposure, etc. They should be prepared in that ways. Not just reading. When I say reading also means you should read and read with a time target, because one thing which I've heard with some of the students was at times it's a lengthy paper. So at times the reading comprehension which comes might be a bit lengthy and the student was not able to read in full. So there is a skill regarding it also. You need not read full, because I remember in law school also, there used to be cases worth 700 pages or 1000 pages. We did not read the entire thing. When you read more and more, you tend to have this kind of a skill where you understand that what should be read. You can start predicting what it is all about. And most of the time, LSAT understands. It's a very psychologically made paper where most of those comprehension questions also which they come from socio-political scenario of the world. So they may discuss something like that. They may pick up some chapters from some famous book, which can be based on policy, etc. And they can test you on those things. So something which I would request students to do is stay in touch. So general studies would help here, but they will not, again, it's not a rote learning examination, but then it helps you when you read to logically understand what the question is all about. You can also understand very clearly one more thing, that when you read, you're also able to predict as in reading comprehension, you are also able to predict what the entire para is all about. So when I had a chat with many students, I also understood that the students' level itself is as such. The toppers specifically, we had Hena. So last year when they were in the campus, so we used to meet each other in the coffee shops, etc. So I could understand the student is enlightened enough, and they don't just they're not students who just know bits and pieces about their own country, but they are kind of global citizens. They have an opinion about the American election. They know how elections are conducted. They know about refugee crisis, what logically is a conclusion to a refugee crisis. They know about everything as in which is geopolitical in nature. Such kind of a psyche, a development of a psyche is more important for these days. What I mean to say is, it's not just about just reading and gulping and forgetting. It's about reading, understanding, and also trying to make sense out of it, and also developing a kind of a psyche which makes you someone who's ready to do law for the next 5 years of your life. Now you would ask me how? It's very simple. I just said it a few moments back, that you should not be someone who is bought by narratives or arguments which are someone else's, but you are someone who reads and has his or her own perspective regarding it. You understand that? As in what I told about the farm law. Read more and more about the farm law. So there is this very funny video. I was even watching it. It's full of abuses though. There's this guy called as 𝗟𝗶𝗶𝗀, who creates funny videos on present scenario, etc. So he was taking, so he's called as 𝗟𝗶𝗶𝗀. He speaks in typical Kanpuri slang. So he said something in as a matter of a joke, but it is so serious, where he said that media nowadays is not showing anything. So he's not able to criticize. So he is also protesting against farm law. But the problem is, what is the issue in farm law? He knows. But what is to be protested and what is the solution, he also doesn't know. So he says कि कुछ तो बताओ इसके बारे में कि मैं भी protest करूं. हम protest कर रहे हैं, but और मुझे चाहिए. So you should not be in that kind of a situation. You try to get the law also in your hand. It is available online. Try to get a copy of it. Understand what is the problem. Understand your country also, basically. Because if you listen to the farmers of Haryana and Punjab, yes, they have a problem. What they are saying is absolutely right. But such kind of problem is not faced by people in other states. They are happy with the law. So that's the problem in India. Most of the things or policies they make, sitting in doing armchair research, they think that one size fits all. In a country where you say unity in diversity, but we all know how diverse we are and how may fit in every state, but when it comes to these things, so what I'm speaking about is you have to reason out, you have to have your own understanding power, and it's not like you are egoistic about it. You have to be flexible also. Try discussing it on various avenues. Try to discuss, but this will require a lot of peer help also, for which this Khan Academy, which you just pointed out, Harsh, I'm very thankful that you even showed the website to the students. That is very helpful. Because when you go into that, they also have a forum where many students who are even preparing for LSAT International are there, where you can get to converse with each other, you can understand. So you are kind of preparing for LSAT International. LSAT India is I would not say an easier version of it, but it's kind of a, okay, someone has just messaged me the real name of 𝗟𝗏𝗶𝗃. His name is 𝗧𝗶𝗽𝗀. Thank you, Aman. So I'm happy that you also see it. So in times of pandemic, these are those things which we are doing. So yes, but okay, coming back to the topic. So in Khan Academy tutorials, something which you would get is you are preparing for a tougher version of the examination. And most of our students who have prepared through Khan Academy have been very successful in the LSAT India preparation, in the LSAT India examination, as well as in preparation. So I would rather say go to such kind of forums, because we are living in such kind of situations where classroom teaching might not be possible in the next few months also. That is what I deduce. Even if the vaccination, etc., we are working on it, but still there is a tough fight which I see in classroom preparation. So you can go on those forums and you can see that how students are preparing, how they are faring well. They even discuss those questions also there. I've seen a single question being discussed by a group of 100 students. They are discussing that why this was not the answer, etc. And the best thing about LSAT is they do not make questions through rack picking. They're not doing rack picking. What they do is each question is made and is solved by a minimum of 100 people. They sit on that question. It's very psychologically made. And as they say, in every question, they at least have 2 questions which are right, but then it's upon which is the most right question. And that is basically, and that is why they give you, the scores in percentile, not in score. So the percentile system is what again makes LSAT very interesting, because it's upon the number of students who have appeared in totality. And then, so last year it was very interesting because students were appearing for the test and they were getting their score. Okay. But they were thinking whether we are selected or not. And then LSAT told them that unless until the entire cycle of admission, of the entire cycle of entrance examination is not done away with, we cannot tell you your percentile, because percentile is scored out of all the students who have appeared. Okay. So out of all the students who have appeared, how many have reasoned out, how many have given the right answer, depending upon that, they give you the score. So that makes it, a bit of a different examination. I hope whatever you have told about the preparation module is also something which they have to follow Khan Academy. And then slowly there are other coaching institutes also in India who have started, specific classes, like Career Launcher has started, Legal Edge has started, Crack Possible has started. So these coaching institutes have also now started realizing it, because last year, and one more thing which I'm very happy to announce here is many of the law schools have also now started accepting more and more LSAT scores. The reason is last year when we were all, confused that how entrance examination would be done, and CLAT was even being thought about the mode in which it would be done. LSAT was already done. Students already knew which law school they are going to. So this year it's going to be again the same, I guess, as of now. Let's see how it turns out.
Yes. So while the sir was answering this question, there's one kid who asked, "What's after LSAT? What are the benefits of giving LSAT?" So ideally, I have told you that this exam is for who don't believe in rote learning and are not well prepared with GK and are also not prepared with maths. That's one other thing which sir in his last sentence pointed out. There are other also law colleges which take LSAT India score apart from Jindal Global Law School. And let me name few in details. Asian Law College, JIS, IBR, Vivekanand, Geetam, Indore Institute of Law, Kalinga, LPU, Modi University of Science. And these are just some of the names. The prominent one is again, yes, you guessed it right. It's not me who is saying I'm not biased, but a lot of your mentors across the country. The most prominent is Jindal Global Law School. It takes purely admission based on your LSAT India score in its 5-year program. Now, that being said, what is the other benefit of giving LSAT India is uh, rather than just letting you know, we'll take you to their website and rather show you. So on their website as of today, they mention about a scholarship. So this is another good point. If you're preparing for if you're thinking to appear for LSAT India, they mentioned about a scholarship which they gave in 2020, and I hope they continue in 2021. Is that offers the topper a maximum of 4 lakh rupees. So that covers tuition and all of residence. You can read about it in detail. I just wanted to point it to you. So you can ask this. The question regarding this specifically to the people who represent LSAT, India. So now that being said, the prominent college which takes admission out of this out of this entrance examination is Jindal Global Law School. So one other question which has been asked to me, and I would rather refer it to Sir for the more details, because we have launched our new program of BA Honors in Legal Studies. So that's again a prominent program. The first batch has already commenced its classes and it's all going good. So for the people, sir, who are not able to score well in LSAT India, for that matter, they are not able to achieve the cutoff of LSAT cutoff, which is primary, which is important to get admission into Jindal Global Law School. Is there any other way or the option they can get into Jindal Global Law School? Is there any other test apart from LSAT?
No, we only accept students through LSAT. And this year, what we had done was we had just launched a new program called as BA. It's an honors program. It's a humanities degree, but in legal studies. So you have BA in political science, you have BA in economics, but in legal studies, we don't have. So where did we borrow this idea from? Again, it's a global curriculum. So if you go ahead and understand, if you go ahead and Google BA Legal Studies, there are no Indian, universities which are basically involved in the same. They are all American universities or European universities who do this degree. Why? Because they don't have a 5-year program. What they have is the 3-year or the 4-year graduation, after which you do Juris Doctor, which is a law program. So we tried to do the same thing because of 2 reasons. One of the reasons which I'll quote here is there are now many students who think that the 5-year course is very rapid. It's very quick. If you ask me, I'm also a graduate of 5-year program, and I would say, yes, it was very quick. Before, I was in the 5th year and I was thinking, though, when you're in the 3rd year, you do feel that, it's dragging too much because most of your friends who go for BBA or anything else, they might be graduating and you still have 2 more years. But when you're in the 5th year, you feel that it was so quick. You read so many, and moreover in law schools like mine, which had trimester system, it was really quick and it happened just like that. So you start thinking that what did you learn? And even then you adapt. But there were many people, even in my batch, who could not adapt. So they did this 5-year course at 6 and 7 years because of the repeat and because of the backlogs, etc., which they had. Now, the thought process which went into this course was there could be students whose potential or whose caliber to do law in such a rapid manner might not be there. So they might be those students who would want to do the 3+3 course. But then what do? They go and do BA Political Science, BA Sociology, etc., which might not be the right club of things when they do the 3-year LLB. So we tried to create a course which could club or which can get married to the 3-year LLB in a much more better sense. No doubt about it, there are students who do BA Political Science, Sociology, who do very well in law. But then we thought there is a kind of a vacancy which can be filled in. And that's how this course came in, with the kind of research which we put in, and we went ahead and we researched that how the Americans have drafted this course. The similar way, we also drafted the course in India, and it's called as BA Legal Studies. So in that course, what we did was, many of the students who could not take admission in our 5-year program, we gave them an offer to be a part of Jindal Global Law School through BA Legal Studies. So our cutoff last year, someone was asking us the cutoff. The first list cutoff for last year's Jindal Global Law School was 72 percentile. At 72 percentile, we closed. And then we reopened it and we went till 60 percentile. And we had to go to 60 percentile. I'll tell you, there is a reason behind it. The reason was the government of India came out with a very good policy that they were giving a refund to students till 30th of November, because of which many students tried to opt out once the CLAT results were out. But I'm so happy to tell you, majority of students who got through national law schools did not leave Jindal, because by that time our classes had already begun. So students were already in the classrooms and they had started attending classes. They were making use of the 5-year program, I would say, because 5-year means 5 years. It's already concise, and we were already 6 months down. But because thanks to LSAT, which happened timely, we had classrooms which started in September, and those students had already started attending classes, so they did not go. So we still had vacancy in BA Legal Studies. So students who could not make through to the 5-year program were accommodated in the 6-year program. But now something which was more interesting was, one look at the curriculum of BA Legal Studies. There were students whom we had selected for the 5-year program. They made a request to be, to be accommodated in the 6-year program, because they wanted to do BA Legal Studies, think, and then go for law. So that is one of those options which the 6-year program has, because in 5-year, there is no exit option. In 6-year, there is an exit option after the 3rd year also. So students understood it. And so we had students who knew that they're still not prepared for law probably. And so they would want to study for 3 years, and then probably they can go for MBA, etc. So this was one of those students. The other student was, she wanted to do it in a slow manner rather than a rapid manner. So yes, through LSAT, the percentage, 60% and below, we have taken students in our course called as BA Legal Studies. Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, now let us go through some questions before we end this particular session.
Okay, I have also got few questions.
Yeah.
Someone has asked me a question that how is LSAT for UG and PG different? Okay, the answer to it is Sakshi. Sakshi has asked me this question. Sakshi, the answer is, it's basically, as I said, it is not made through rack picking from here and there. You won't find LSAT questions anywhere in any book, because someone has asked me a question that 𝗟𝗏𝗃 has many reasoning books. Can you tell me a specific book? LSAT makes their questions and they do not repeat their questions. Okay, they create their question. There is a specific group of people, some of them are professors from Harvard, who make these questions. And they make this question putting in a lot of effort. It's not, again, I'm saying, it's not rack picking from here and there. It's basically professors, it's basically psychologists who are in a group who sit and make this question. And it is made with a specific mind that the answer, why it is there. So I've been told when they make the question, the options follow with answers which go to 2 to 3 pages also, the reasoning of it, that, okay, this is the answer because of this. And then they select the questions. That's the level of question. And that's why you don't find so many mocks, etc. But then there are agencies like Kaplan, there are agencies like Khan Academy, etc., who make their own question based on the same thing. Based on the same philosophy, they make the questions and they put it online. So if you go to Khan Academy, it has many questions. It has many diagnostic tests also. So when it comes to questions specifically for a UG or a PG, yes, they do know that a PG student is a well-read student in terms of India, because he has already done his graduation. So the kind of questions are made keeping in mind the psyche of a postgraduate student. So one student who is going for a LLM, so they create different questions for the student. While a question for a UG student would be different, because they understand that it's a 12th grade student in Indian context. So there are people who come to India, they know the education system. It's like, as I said, there's a lot of research which they put into these things. It's not just that, okay, let's create. So the LSAT is done globally. So we have a LSAT for Nepal also. We have LSAT for Bhutan also. And they create this question depending upon the psyche and the education system of that country. So it depends upon differently which course are you going for also. That's the kind of a difference. So the PG questions might be slightly difficult also, while the UG question might not be that difficult. So that's the difference between it. I hope that I answered that question. Yeah. And someone has asked that, anonymous attendee, that what among the 3 books, which book would help me for LSAT particularly? I would say the Super Prep book, which discoverlaw.in. I hope, Harsh, it's on sale there, right?
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, that is one of the best books because it is prepared by LSAC. Okay, LSAC themselves are preparing that book, and the questions, etc., you can find them. So the past year papers, some of them are also available. You can download it from the website discoverlaw.in. So discoverlaw themselves are giving a lot of resources to you. Apart from that, Kaplan, I guess, has a host of books on LSAT preparation, but that is LSAT International. For LSAT India specifically, the one book which has been prepared is Super Prep book. It's available on Amazon also, if I'm not wrong, because I remember last year it was on Amazon also. So you can buy it from Amazon as well. Okay, and cutoff, I have already answered the question. What about student exchange program? We call it, we have three kinds of student exchange, what you are referring to. It's not just student exchange. So it is our international office which takes care of these things. There is not just one kind of student exchange which we have. There are three kinds. There is a dual degree program. There is a student exchange where the student can go for a semester abroad. There is also summer school where the student can probably go and spend a 14 to 15-day program where the university hosts you, and it's not just academic, sports, you get exposed to everything in the university. And also there are academic lectures which happen. So there are three kinds of program which Jindal has. As this program is specifically on LSAT, I will not go more into detail of student exchange. Rather, we would leave our numbers here. You can get in touch with us. We will make sure that any question which you have about Jindal Global Law School is answered. Okay. So Sania, please excuse us in this because this session is specifically for LSAT. So LSAT related query, anything you have, you can ask us, and even course related about the 5-year program, etc. So this is specifically Jindal. You can, as in Harsh will drop his number and you can connect with Harsh, and we'll even send you brochures and every collateral which you require, which answers your question properly. Okay. And which one is better? BBA, and both of them are excellent. Even BCom LLB is excellent because at the end of the day, they are a law degree. Okay. And it depends upon you which one you want to do. So if you ask me, all the national law schools, they have only BLLB. Some of them have BBLLB. So BBLLB is basically a new thing which the Bar Council of India has come out with because they had seen that the kind of interest which students are having for corporate law. So what they have done is they have coupled BBA and LLB and they have come out with this course. Okay. There is nothing which robs a BA student out of it, that he will not be getting all those things, because a BLLB student also becomes a corporate lawyer. In fact, if you ask me, if a corporate or if a law firm comes for placement, they don't check it whether you are a BLLB or a BBLLB. For them, your resume is good. If you're a BLLB, still if you have done your internships in corporate law firms, you are as valuable to them as a BBLLB. So basically, it's just it's just something which they have done to experiment or re-experiment what they have done, because it's just for the 2 years that B or BBA is taught to you, the first 2 years. After that, the subjects are uniform. It's the same thing. Something beautiful with Jindal does it. Jindal offers electives. So there are electives that students have. So a BA student, if he is interested in learning entrepreneurship, as elective, he can pick it from BBLLB and read it. So that is something which Jindal is doing. That's how global structure has been created. It's a university. It has a business school where business school offers some subjects. So students borrow it from there and they study. They borrow entrepreneurship from there. They borrow psychology from liberal arts. So as electives are given to Jindal students, BA or BBLLB, that doesn't matter. And that's exactly how it goes also. Okay. 3-year LLB course, again, 3-year LLB course, LSAT and LLM LSAT papers are very identical. They are very similar to each other. Okay. Because they don't test you on law. This is for the anonymous attendee who asked this question, that what is the difference of paper between BLLB and LLB? So the answer which I want to give here is LSAT is not based upon your legal reasoning. It is basically based upon your English language and your reasoning ability. So depending upon the toughness level, LLM and 3-year LLB papers are similar in nature because they are given by similar individuals who are graduates. While for students who are 12th graduates, basically the toughness level is slightly easier. That's the difference. Okay. So Harsh, you can just drop in your number to Sanya, and
I was doing so while you were answering. I was answering the questions on the chat. Great. Sending them the links about LSAT registration and also the dates, and also the study material link. And that being said, one of the question which is asked is, sir, will I get a break while I am attempting LSAT India? No, there are no breaks while you are attempting LSAT India. So you have to sit through, and also because of the technical requirement, there should not be other person in your room while you're attempting this particular exam. So that being said, in this particular moment, let me drop you our email ID for further assistance. If you need a sample paper, if you have any further query, which is specific to Jindal Global Law School, you can further contact us on that. Right now, in this particular session, we were dealing with law school admission test, which is an entrance examination solely on whose score the admission is taken at Jindal Global Law School. Yes. So herein, I'm sharing with you the details of our team. Will help you resolve your queries when it's specific to Jindal Global Law School. I hope we have answered all of your questions. And
okay, there is one more question, Harsh, where Aman Santosh is asking me, is a scholarship which provided after clearly LSAT only for first year or until the course?
I've answered this. I've answered this.
Okay.
I've answered this.
So we can only speak for Jindal Law School.
Yeah.
For other law schools, you can inquire. There are other law schools also who take LSAT examination and also give scholarship. You can ask specifically those institutions.
Anonymous attendee.
Generally, all the law schools give it for 5 years because scholarship is provided to scholars for scholarly ability. So no one wants to miss those scholars. But then again, the scholar also has to behave like a scholar. So even at Jindal, we are very clear about it. Your scholarship will be taken away under some circumstances, which is if you do something indisciplinary inside the campus, where it is not on prima facie case that you did something, you are even heard. So you are given a warning, second warning, and after that only we take away the scholarship. And what do we do with the scholarship which we take away? We do not just keep it with ourselves, we give it to the next deserving students. So that's how scholarship works. So be very careful about it.
Okay. So that's amazing, Sanya. You got this particular answer. Yes. So there's is it BSc LLB? So there's nothing. There's no BSc LLB at Jindal Global Law School. Okay. So that was Astitwa answer to your question.
BSc LLB is there. Some law schools have it. As in, if you go to Pune, I guess Symbiosis or else ILS Pune, they give you BSc LLB. But no, in Jindal we don't have.
Jindal doesn't have. Okay.
But so BSc is not the science LLB. It is social sciences, I guess. Something of that sort is given. But we don't have BSc LLB at Jindal.
So we have utilized the time allotted to us, and I hope we answered. We tried to discuss as far as possible with respect to LSAT India. I also mentioned to you the dates. I've also covered the colleges accepting the scores apart from, in fact, Jindal Global Law School. Who is this paper for LSAT India? Apart from that, we took you through the sections which are asked in LSAT India, how to prepare for those particular parts, and how important are the language learning, language skills, and reading skills, because this paper is reading oriented. Further in, I give you my personal perspective that the last date, the date of the exam might change owing to the dates announced by our honorable education minister. So my last word will be just keep calm, prepare. Itne sare exam hai, and you have an added pressure. But yes, again, pressure is important. But if you prepare it timely, if you have this particular strategy that you devote a particular time frame to individual sections, you will be able to ace this paper very well. And yes, 2021 will be far better than 2020. That's at least we can hope for. That being said, so if you have any last word for the kids.
Well, as a closing remark, I can only say, don't take LSAT as an examination to gain admission into a law school. Again, I repeat the same thing. Please, in our country, one of the biggest problems which I have seen of late is students see that there are many factors which decide your career. Peer pressure, parents, there are something called as personal, there are also neighbors and relatives who are involved. Basically, of late, I've also met students in law school who are also struggling because under peer pressure or under some kind of different pressure, they decided to do law. But once into law school, they realized that it is very different to what they thought about. Because I met a student who could have been a very good engineering student, but now he's struggling because he's struggling with language, he's struggling with the level of those qualities which are required. And that is what, that is wrong, what is happening in our country that way. He aced the entrance examination called as CLAT because of two reasons. He was from Max Sciences stream, so he was really good in mathematics. He was someone who had good memorizing skills, so general studies, etc. was very easy for him. He aced it, And he went to the best law school. I cannot name the law school, but he went to the best law school with a very good rank. But inside he started struggling, and he struggled so badly that he was planning to quit. So I remember sitting with him, convincing him that no, don't do it because etc. But in my heart, I knew it that something wrong is happening, and it's going on the very similar field that they, the like how engineering, how that happened in engineering. And similarly in law also we were getting some students. I think LSAT as an examination is something which should be given by the student, not just for the sake of admission into a law school or securing a seat in a law school, but to test his ability, because that examination called as LSAT will give you an idea, a good idea about those 5 years, because that's exactly what you're going to do. So preparation also will give you a good idea, because you'll have to read a lot, you have to reason a lot. So I'll give you this example of this guy. His name is 𝗟𝗦𝗍𝗶𝗃. He went into the IIT. He is you should hear his story. There is a lecture of him on YouTube where he's speaking to IIT students, where he says that he went into a law school, he went into engineering, where he discovered himself that his knack of his abilities are not that of an engineer as such. He wanted to be a computer engineer, but he is better at other things which are related to humanities, as a subject relating to humanities. Now see what he has become. He has become a phenomenon. He is someone who fought the case of Ayodhya so well, and hear his speeches, his way of articulation, his ideas, his knowledge. He is so famous. Now think about it, had he gone to a national law school or a Jindal Global Law School, think about how more sharper he would have been. That is what I keep thinking. So he was here in the campus also, as in he delivered a lecture here. So I get mesmerized looking at him, like, see, but then again, he went to engineering college. He kind of, I would not say wasted, but his investment of his years in an engineering college were like a waste. On the other hand, he would have been something else had he gone to a law school. Similarly, you should not go to a law school also just because you see 𝗟𝗦𝗍𝗶𝗃, you see someone, some series, and you get just mesmerized by it. Appear in these entrance examinations and appear also for an aptitude test. While preparation itself, if you're able to understand that you're not cut out for it, go ahead and drop the idea. So I might be someone who popularized law from the year 2006 to 2014. But today, when I meet law aspirants, I tell them very clearly that what to expect in a law school, and please don't jeopardize your life. So some students who are still confused, I tell them, okay, do BA legal studies. Go ahead, explore for 3 years. If you have it, then go for 3-year law, or else go for liberal arts. It's again something where you can pick and choose, where you know what abilities you have, but don't be bogged down and don't go into the fashionable disease they call as depression. Once you are into a course and then you start thinking, oh, my life is over. Getting it? So that's the parting advice which I can give. I would request most of those law aspirants to go ahead and give LSAT, prepare for LSAT also, because many students who appear for LSAT also tell me that LSAT preparation has also helped them in other law entrance examinations also, because the level of questions actually make you sharper. The answers which are given in super prep book, etc., when you read them, you do get satisfied. And I know I'm having this small wink on my face because I know R.S. Agrawal never does that. I have found students who argue, who fight and say, this answer is wrong. I think my answer is right. But such kind of things will not be there in the super prep. It will convince you that whatever is given there is right. Okay. And so will the Khan Academy classes as well. Okay. So that's the parting note. Happy New Year to each one of you. And I would sound like a papa now. I would say my blessings to each one of you. So, and my wishes to all one of you that, this year, let's defeat not just Corona, but also career anxieties, and also make sure that you all, and I wait to welcome you all to the legal fraternity. Thank you.
Just 3 points before I end that. The first thing is, as I told, it will enhance your reading ability. The second thing is just chill, but don't chill extra. Also prepare for your entrance examination. The third thing, as I always say, sabhi hai bheed mein, nikal sako to chalo. So keep on preparing, and I hope to see you. I hope to see most